So Killer Mike is I want to also play a clip from him, which is on the same vein. We were gonna play this on Valentine's Day, and I actually wanted to wait for a brother to come through to have this conversation with, but we have a lot of brothers listening to the show. Killer Mike said some things because I also want to talk about his politics. But on Valentine's Day, this clip was released, and I thought it was very interesting, and I want people to listen with an open mind, okay? Because two things can be true. Two things can be true about a person. Play that clip, Smiz.
Why is it so important to have a black woman?
Man, a lot of people. I mean, for me, Walt T. Williams was a conservative. He was an economist, and so I borrow from blackness all around. I don't, you don't have to be married to a political party for me to learn from me. I grew up between two black folks. My grandmother was SCLC, NAACP, very much a Democrat. My grandfather didn't give a damn about government, hated most systems. He had a quote that if God gave you an appetite in the brain to make a fishing pole, you shouldn't have to pay taxes to fish. My grandmother said, well, somebody got to clean up the park, Willie. So the game wars got to be. So I grew up between these. But so for me, I don't really put a lot of emphasis on what you are. It's just a matter, you love my people, I go. So when I say I married a black woman, Walt T. Williams said there's only one case he agreed with in terms of segregation. And people are like, well, what is that? Because you've been free thinking. You're over here writing conservatives. And he says, that's when it comes to marriage. You should marry a black woman. Because who's going to understand me like a black woman? Who gonna understand my pain, my strife, my struggle? Who's going to understand culturally how important it is for my black children to be proud to be black? Even when she didn't birth these children, she's still their mother. Nobody's going to do that like a black woman. Yeah. Nobody's going to. And that's not putting down other people, but that's say before you criticize me now. Yeah. I'm going to look at your life decisions, nigga. Yeah. And if you know what I'm saying? And if your life decisions didn't bring you to a black woman, then a lot of the shit you say might not be a credit to me. So I got a critic, I got a critic. Yeah, I know this don't like me. That's right. I know this don't like me. I don't act like this like me. You know what I'm saying? This been accused of all kind of. But when I seen that wife, when I see this again, I'm putting this to the side. Yeah. I'm pulling your card because you can't critique me about being black. I live in a black neighborhood. I grew up in a black community. I didn't move 3 exits from the neighborhood I grew up in. Still helped the same black high school and college and elementary schools I went to. You can't get blacker than me because when I wake up in the middle of the night, I wake up next to a black wife. That's right. Yeah. And she blacker than all us because she Geechee. That's right. That red motherfucker with freckles Geechee. That's right. You know what I mean? She talk language I don't even understand. They get talking all that water dead, all that old. Right. You know what I mean? I be feeling like I'm in a room full of Africans. You know what I mean? So you can't be blacker than me because I love black people so much. I married one of us. Yeah. And it's to the death with me. So you know what I mean? My thing is, if you criticize me, now be all the way right. If you criticize me for the white folks, you better be all the way right. That's right. And if the motherfucker on your arm not black, I'm going to talk cash shit to you. Not on camera, but I'm going to pull you to the side, nigga. Right. And I'm going to say, why your wife ass so flat? I know you can't.
Thoughts and prayers. And I played this on purpose today because I wanted to have the experiment went horribly wrong in the first hour, but I wanted to have one of these nuanced conversations. So I had planned the show out. I was going to talk about Killer Mike. I'm going to play this clip that's going around right now that Smiz tried to play where he's talking with RFK, which I'm probably not going to play because I think it's a little bit irrelevant at this point because he has been proven to be a little bit problematic and people are roasting him. But this is broader than just, this person is problematic, so we're going to cancel them. No, we should be having these conversations with each other and ourselves. Rashonda.
Yeah, I agree. I can't co-sign. I love black love. I really do. And I want our black men with black women, but I can't write off I can't write you off because of who you fall in love with. I'm always going to uplift black love and push for black love. But if you happen to fall in love with a little Asian lady, a white woman, I can't hate you for that. I can't write away your blackness for that. And so with Killer Mike, I'm gonna have to disagree with him on that, just kind of like I disagree on those politics that he gets to spewing.
So I'm gonna say this with my full chest. As a black woman, I smiled when I was watching that, because when you go on these dating apps, black women are the quote unquote least desirable. I'm watching something called Love is Blind. And for the first time, a black woman is desired. A dark skinned black woman is desired by the white men on the cast. Everybody is like, maybe they're objectifying her too, but she is the center of the affection of a lot of, and I was like, yes, because everybody wants to feel wanted and desired, because most of us grew up with the white ideal as the source of beauty, like this is beautiful and you're the opposite of that, so therefore you're not. And we've had to find black is beautiful in our own way. I leaned into what he said because as a black woman, I was like, yes, to me, especially if you are fighting for our rights. And it makes it complicated because then there's Harry Belafonte, and we can't question his commitment to the cause. But then it makes me say, well, why couldn't you find someone who could love you? Now, I get love is love, but there are certain things that are going on in this world that kind of requires you to have somebody that understands you. I hear you, though. I hear you, Rashonda Tate. I hear you. And you're not wrong, but this is a conversation I think we should be having.
Yeah, I'm definitely open for the discussion. There is a fine line you draw. You know how you used to see the Black Panther dudes back in the day, and they would come and they'd power to the people, and then they have, the whitest plain Jane girl they could get. If you fall in love, you fall in love. What I don't like is the black man that has written off the black woman because she's this and she's that, and I'm only going to do this race. So that's where my issue comes in. So I definitely get what Killer Mike is saying. I just don't want to write off love, period. I may just be more of a guess one of the ones that's always looking for love, but I don't want it at the expense of a black woman.
It could be those 60 books that have had those themes in them, that you have crafted these stories. That's where your imagination goes. I just think, we have to do a lot of self-examination to move forward, and a lot of healing. And, having these conversations, I think, are important. But let's go to the phones. All the lines are lit. We're going to go to Texas because that's where you are. Rashonda Tate is with us. Michael in Texas. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hi.
Hi, Karen. How you doing? Good to talk to you again.
Thank you.
I have two sons, and fortunately, unfortunately, how you want to take it, they married out of the black race. I love my grandkids and stuff. For me, I'm pro-black. I prefer the black female. My wife met her in high school. Been with her since 1982, and we've been together ever since, and we're still together. I prefer black love because I agree with Killer Mike. I don't care for Killer Mike, but I agree with him on that. When I have black issues and someone, cop stopped me and talked to me crazy or try to do something disrespectful to me, she can relate. And that's what he's saying. That's all.
So why do you think your sons made a different choice?
Because their mom is a very strong woman. She always has been. She had 9 brothers and sisters. She's 10 kids altogether, and she's very independent and strong. And I love that about her. I'm a truck driver. I'm always on the road, so she can handle things for me when I'm not there. I don't have to worry about her. I think they want someone that was not as aggressive as their mom was. Because she's a very aggressive young lady. She's very quiet, but she's aggressive when it comes to certain things. And I think they took that because that's what they fell in love with. They didn't want that challenge, sometimes I call it, because they're not challenged.
That's interesting. Rashonda, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, because see, when he said that, I'm sitting here, I'm touting one love, but I want my son to bring home a black woman.
See, because it says something, right? Because on so many levels, I remember, I was dating a guy and I brought him home, and my dad said, finally, somebody who looks like me. And not that I was dating outside the race, but my father was very dark skinned. And so for him, it was like, oh, like I was being a colorist or something. And I didn't even notice that he noticed. But I was like, oh, okay, duly noted. It wasn't even something that I had computed. It wasn't like I was bringing white guys home. So, for him, it was like, you want to see yourself in the people that your children bring home because it validates you as a parent, I guess. Because something, to his point, though, that's very interesting. And I wonder how his wife feels about that.
Hmm. I can see that. So one of my girlfriends, my son grew up around his two sisters and myself, and we fuss and bicker a lot. And my girlfriend used to always say, he gonna marry a white woman. Because he's the baby. And he's like, y'all always fussing at him. And I would hate to think that's true, but hey, what the caller just said, I think that's very real.
Ooh, okay. 866-801-8255. It's interesting. And I'm gonna be, transparent. Again, love is love. We're not racist. But I do bristle at a couple of things. So first of all, I think about especially the very wealthy. And there's some billionaires and their spouses are white. And I think about legacy. And you're ostensibly leaving your wealth to, it's not going back into the community. And I just think about that, just because marriage is a contract of really about money. Marriage is a contract, not of love. It's a contract for property and things, which is why legally you have to get in and out of it, right? Because it's not just about your heart. But that's none of my business, I guess, Rashonda.
Yeah, now I do have a problem with, and I don't know why these billionaire athletes and billionaires in general, if she wouldn't talk to you if you were broke, then why is it that that's the epitome of I have arrived when you're rich? And a lot of them will say because the Black woman's mouth, which I think is a cop out. But I really do. I agree. They're funneling that money back in, and we're not building that generational wealth when we're taking it outside.
Right. Because be sure, Patrick Mahomes' kids will not be raised as Black children. 866-801-8255 is the number. Somebody even said, well, he doesn't even identify as being Black. And maybe that's good. Maybe eventually it won't matter. That's the world I want to live in.